The valley was silent. Smoke curled into the sky, painting it gray against the sinking sun. Radios hissed with broken transmissions. The elite SEAL team was trapped behind enemy lines, cut off, surrounded, and running out of hope. They'd called for air support, but every aircraft was grounded. The last words from the command tower were grim: "You're on your own." The team leader, Commander Hale, clenched his jaw, trying to keep his men calm. These were America's best, hardened soldiers who'd faced death countless times. But this was different. Their extraction bird had been shot down, communications were jammed, and enemy reinforcements were closing in fast. Even the most battle-tested warriors began to whisper under their breath, "We're not getting out this time." Back at the nearby base, a janitor named Jack Collins was mopping the hallway floors. The man wore faded coveralls, his name tag barely hanging on. Most soldiers barely noticed him. He was just the guy who fixed lights, cleaned spills, and quietly disappeared before dawn. But behind those tired eyes lived something no one knew, a past buried deep, locked behind classified records and painful memories. Jack had once been Major Jack Hawk Collins, a decorated A-10 Warthog pilot, a legend whose name was still whispered among airmen. He'd flown hundreds of missions, saving lives on the ground with his thunderous GAU-8 cannon. But after a tragic crash that took his wingman, and nearly his own life, he walked away from the Air Force, unable to forgive himself. He'd raised his daughter alone, sweeping floors instead of skies, never wanting to fly again. But that night, as he was finishing his shift, he overheard a radio transmission through an open comms channel, a desperate cry for air support. Hale's voice was faint, breaking with static. "If anyone can hear this, this is Team Bravo 7, we're surrounded, coordinates." Jack froze. He recognized that voice. Hale had once been his student at flight school, years ago. His heart pounded as the coordinates repeated. He dropped his mop, adrenaline flooding his veins. The base commander was out on emergency duty, the pilots were grounded due to weather warnings. There was no time for authorization, no time for approval. The SEALs had 15 minutes, maybe less. Jack sprinted to the hangar, where an old A-10 Thunderbolt II sat under maintenance lights, stripped but functional. The crew chief shouted as Jack climbed the ladder. "Hey! You can't be in there. Who even are you?" Jack turned, eyes fierce. "I'm the only one who can get them out alive." The engines roared to life, a sound that hadn't echoed through that valley in years. As the twin turbines screamed awake, mechanics ran for cover, waving their arms, but Jack was already rolling down the runway. Rain lashed the windshield as he lifted off, lightning streaking across the sky. He hadn't flown in years, yet every movement came back like instinct. The rhythm, the throttle, the heart of the Warthog pulsing with his own. Meanwhile, in the valley, the SEALs had taken cover behind burning rocks. The enemy was closing in, their ammunition nearly gone. Hale whispered to his men, "If this is it, we go down fighting." Then, a distant roar. A growing thunder that shook the air. One of the SEALs looked up, eyes wide. "No way, no freaking way." Over the ridge, the sky exploded in sound. The A-10 screamed downward, its engines howling, wings cutting through smoke and flame. And then came the unmistakable brrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr machine gun nest shattered, and the ridge lit up in fire and fury. The SEALs dropped to their knees, half in awe, half in disbelief. Hale shouted through his comm, "Whoever you are, keep doing that." Jack's voice came through, calm, steady, almost nostalgic. "Hold your position, boys. I've got eyes on you." For 20 minutes, the valley turned into chaos. Jack flew with precision no computer could replicate, weaving between cliffs, raining protection from above. The enemy scattered in panic as the Angel of Thunder tore through their lines. The SEALs rallied, pushing forward, guided by Jack's cover fire until their extraction bird, delayed but not forgotten, finally arrived. As they loaded up, Hale looked out the window just in time to see the A-10 banking toward the horizon, wings glinting under the dying sun. "Who was that pilot?" a young SEAL asked. Hale just smiled faintly. "Someone who didn't forget what it means to protect family." When Jack landed back at base, MPs were waiting, lights flashing, commanders yelling, chaos everywhere. But among them stood Hale, still in his torn gear, limping but alive. The moment their eyes met, everything else went quiet. Hale saluted. Permission to shake the hand of the man who saved my team. Jack smiled tiredly. You always were a good flyer, Hale. You taught me everything I know, Hale said. But tonight, you reminded me what courage really looks like. Word spread like wildfire. Within hours, every soldier on base knew the truth. The quiet janitor who mopped their floors had once been a hero among heroes, and still was. Weeks later, the Air Force officially reinstated him, not to fight again, but to train a new generation of pilots. Jack stood before a group of young cadets, eyes bright, voice steady. Flying isn't about glory, he said. It's about heart. When you hear someone's last call for help, you answer. No matter who you are. No matter what you've lost. As the story fades, imagine that last shot, the A-10 gliding over a golden horizon, engines humming softly like a heartbeat. The narrator's voice returns. Heroes don't always wear medals. Sometimes, they carry mops. Sometimes, they sweep floors, until the moment the world needs them to fly again.